Well, Jeff Cunningham, and Jeff Cunningham.
Tell it to all the coaches who let him go.
Being John Malkovich.
Being Jeff Cunningham on ExtraTime. Welcome to Extra Time, everybody. I'm your host, Greg Lawless, alongside Shep Messing and Jason, the producer. The band is back, if you will. We are bandwagoneering here in Act 1. Dallas is a full-fledged member of the playoff race. And I believe, guys, that one of us actually said that a couple of weeks ago. Dallas has 27 points. Right? If they win their next 6 games, they go up to 45. You just
what
said 45
team in MLS
points.
wins 6 straight games, though?
You never know. It just might happen. Dallas, dark horses to make the playoffs.
Great job, Greg, but way too early to celebrate. I think it's too little, too late. I don't think they're going to make it.
You don't? All right. So right now, Dallas is 2 points out of the last playoff spot behind New England. Jeff Cunningham, of course, the star as it is right now, leading the league in goals, and he's doing everything for this team as it is.
He is. I agree with Shep, though. It's a little too late. They have a couple tough games ahead of them. Even if they get the points against Colorado this week, you're looking at going into the weekend where they don't hold their own destiny. So they're not in a place that they're comfortable with right now.
But this is a massive game against Colorado. I mean, we keep talking about 6-pointers and all of that, but this game against Colorado, they can still catch Colorado. They're 4 points behind the Rapids right now. You know, if they win their 2 games and New England maybe doesn't win their games or Colorado loses both of their games, Dallas is in.
Yeah, if I had wings, I could fly. But the problem is Colorado. You know, is Colorado a good team, a bad team, a boring team? I think they're a good team and a boring team, but I think they're a big challenge for Dallas.
Right now, I think you're worried if you're Colorado.
I'm not worried, and I'm not Colorado.
If they don't get the points against FC Dallas, which at this point is likely, they now have to go to Salt Lake and get points in Salt Lake in that rivalry game at the end of the season, where Salt Lake could have a lot on the line as well.
Well, listen, these 2 final weekends are going to be very exciting. Yeah. I do think Colorado, I give them the edge, even if they have to go to Salt Lake to get a result. But great job by Dallas. I mean, I had written them off a long time ago. They've surged forward. Jeff Cunningham has been brilliant.
Yeah, he really is. And Shellis Hyman, of course, we should give him some credit for what he's done as a coach.
Yeah, we were lambasting him early in the year. Maybe he's up there for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, well, he's probably sent us a couple of emails that we haven't used on air now and then. Well, a team that maybe didn't get it done, let's say, this past week at all, actually. Toronto. They gave up a goal in the 90th minute. It was not what they wanted to do. If they had gotten this win, things would have been a lot easier for them to get into the playoffs. They would have actually been in the playoff zone, if you will. Instead, they're 2 points out. I'm not going to blame the pink jerseys because those were worn for breast cancer awareness, a great cause. But they just couldn't get the goals, really.
Definitely don't blame the jerseys. Blame the miscommunication between the backup goalkeeper coming in and their center back, Nana Adekora. Now, I don't know who's to blame because it's tough to tell who was saying what, but 3 times in that game, Adekora headed a ball away as Edwards was reaching to it. So is that something that happens if Fry is in the game? Who knows? And at the same time, a couple of those miscommunications were in the first half, so you'd think by halftime they might have cleared something up. Didn't happen, and you see the result.
Well, you know, I think we overemphasize the lack of communication. I understand your point, but in that crowd and the noise and the heat of the game, a lot of the communication is nonverbal. If I've played with Greg Lawless in front of me for 3 years, he knows whether I'm coming out for that ball or not.
So you're agreeing with what Jason is saying, that if Fry had been in there, it might have been...
Not the verbal communication.
Right, okay.
There has to be verbal communication with a goalkeeper and when a goalkeeper's behind a defender. I mean, either the defender hears the goalkeeper call him off and lets it go.
With the noise of the crowd, you have to rely on chemistry and understanding. Greg Lawless playing 3 years in front of me, he's going to know whether I'm coming out for that ball or not. Yes, the goalkeeper's got to shout, but in the the noise of the crowd, you're always not going to hear it. I blame it. You've got to get a second goal. I'm a big believer. Right. You have the lead 1-0.
You're at
Barrett,
home. You need 3 points.
You got to get that second goal.
They definitely had plenty of opportunities to score and definitely should have scored and put this game away well before that final goal.
Well, I'll just throw something out there. The guy who's leading the league in goals right now used to be on Toronto's roster.
Wow, could they use Jeff Cunningham with the midfield they have?
Amazing to be able to
Especially
get him.
the way that Toronto plays with one forward basically up top.
Jeff Cunningham could have been that guy. Maybe Chris Cummins could have done a better job with Cunningham than when Carver was in there, who obviously had some problems with Cunningham when they shipped him out. But can Toronto recover from this, Shep?
I think it's catastrophic, that result against San Jose, but the odds are against them just because of all the different variations, what they have to do.
Right.
Do they have 2 winnable games? Yes, they do, but they don't control their own destiny.
But 2 wins and Toronto will be in the playoffs. They don't control their own destiny, but if they win their 2 games, I think they're in good shape.
A team that clinched their spot in the playoffs, Chivas USA. They've got 5 games unbeaten now, 3 wins and 2 draws. And now, guys, Chivas USA is tied for first and poised to maybe even take the Western Conference crown. Shep, how are they getting this done?
They've done a great job because we think back to the beginning of the season, they were off on a roll. They looked great, knocking the ball around, getting forward, great results. Then they really went downhill, and we kept saying, what's wrong? How can they fix it? Missed Ante Razov all year, but Precky's done a wonderful job. Zach Thornton, tremendous year in goal. And everybody else has chipped in.
Well, we have to give some credit to Preki for the guys that he's brought in. He's brought in some, Quest, Maicon Santos, Padilla even coming in from Chivas, the mother country back there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that Chivas has definitely done a lot with less, and Preki deserves to be a Coach of the Year nominee, undoubtedly. I'm just not a believer. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't a believer at the beginning of the season when they were doing so well, and then they kind of came down to where I thought they were, and now they're doing a little better. I don't, honestly, I think they don't necessarily have what it takes to beat the Houstons and the LAs of the world. And I would maybe even put Seattle in that category. And they're going to get one of them in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, they are. Well, I would argue that the fact that they've shown how to grind out results, get points from games that maybe they shouldn't, such as going up to Seattle and getting a point out of that game.
Right.
I think that shows that they have that grit that sometimes you need in the playoffs when it's a 2-game series and you need to get it done.
I agree with that point about the grit. What they don't have is a game changer. And I think even the gritty teams need a game changer.
Well, maybe if Sasha Kleshin picks it up, he will be the game changer. On Wednesday's show, we're going to talk about some players who have changed their fortunes. They've broken through this season and they've helped their team immensely. So join us for Act 2.